leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work. Y'all
hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Thornton Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Terms 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections are at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
I could not be here breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. You know, nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised that I stuck around this long.
I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. You know, live the best life I can live, be as happy as I can be. Nothing is perfect for anybody. I don't.
Boys, I swear, I think I figured it out. You know why they don't want us redneck brothers and sisters and the hood brothers and sisters getting along? You know why? Because we'd be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now, we would shut shit down.
Yes. You know what we will do? We will shut shit down. Blessings. Yes, I had to spice things up for you a little bit. I don't know why my screen looked like that, but hopefully I can change it, guys, because I don't want to look like a circle all night. All day. I guess that's what we're going to be doing today. Blessings. Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. You're here with your host, Grace Levi. Hold on one second. Let me see something. Why am I looking like that? Y'all like this? This is going to be like this for this stream. Okay? All right. So today, if you guys are Nate Fields fans, what we're going to be doing is getting into his position. Let's see if he has any grounds for actual appeal. And we're going to see if TIffany Henyard has any grounds to get into the election for supervisor in Thornton. Okay. So I did find some information because I wanted to clarify, like, can she get in? Can't she get in? So that's what we're going to look at today. And we're going to look at that first. First, we're going to do a little short flashback. And while we're watching this flashback, I'm going to see, can I get my screen back together? Because it's looking kind of weird, y'all. Y'all like this? Do you like it? Let me know. If not, I'll just wait till my next stream to fix it. I think I did something a little different. Okay. Thank you. Let's play this.
Turmoil in Thornton Township as some government services are shut down. Supervisor TIffany Henyard spokespeople tell NBC5 it's because of liability issues amid a lapse in an insurance policy.
We were in Thornton Township today, and that main building was locked. No one was answering the main phone lines, and some services that are offered there are for electric and heating for low-income homes. We spoke to Henyard spokespeople today and trustees who are calling it a ploy.
What's going on? What do we do? What do we have to do?
Darlene Lewis was one of many Thornton Township residents who tried to get services at the main township building Wednesday, only to find it locked.
I'm going to be in the dark. My apartment is electric. I can't cook.
She risks losing electric services. Supervisor Henyard warned of a government shutdown the night before.
So is there a government shutdown, and that is why the building is closed?
Well, we were advised by the attorneys to close the building. The building shouldn't be open. The risk is great.
According to, let's stop right here, because allegedly the same insurance that covered the building is the same insurance that's been covering those Thornton vans, and people have been saying that those Thornton vans have still been moving and grooving. So as you can see, TIffany has been a little bit vindictive because she's feeling a little hurt because she lost two things back to back. She lost her candidacy for Thornton Township supervisor, in which we're going to talk about that, as well as she lost the case to the Dalton trustees in relation to Ronnie Bird, Solomon, but he's still there. I don't know what's going on with that. You see what I'm saying? And Smith, Catch a Dog Smith. I don't understand why Solomon is still there and who he's getting paid by, but I do recommend that You know who I'm talking to. Possibly Mr. Roberts. Y'all need to do a freedom of information request to see who's paying Solomon. What is going on with that? Because something's a little weird here. You know, his face is all over the place. And I know by this time TIffany Henyard is broke. Okay. So this is TIffany Henyard trying to get back. But what is she trying to get back at? We already know that she has filed a lawsuit. But before we get to there, let me just say this. Y'all see my shirt? I don't like this. Give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna have to fix this. This is getting on my nerves. We're not about to do this, baby. This looks so weird. Give me a second. This shirt that I have on, I'm gonna have to show y'all. It came from, I'm gonna have to say it, my favorite resident. I appreciate her. Hold on one second. I don't know what. Yeah, this looks just ridiculous. And then I'm gonna be here trying to do it. All right, so I got my favorite shirt on. I got it from my favorite resident my favorite resident. Resident. I love her so much. Okay, it says Grace. It says now this is for me. Okay, because just the other day I was on and I was going in, and this is for me. This says the reason I can go through the fire and not look like what I've been through. The game changer. Okay, because if I tell y'all half the stories that I've been through, y'all be like, girl, you okay? You okay? Okay, so with that goes to say perseverance is what it is, staying positive, and I appreciate it, and having the right people around you to just keep you going and keep you being you. So thank you to my favorite resident. I couldn't just go on, but like, okay, she hooked me up. I got more to show y'all. She just spoiled me. I feel so spoiled. So anyway, let's move forward. Thank you so much. So we do know that TIffany filed a lawsuit. We're just going to flash back to that lawsuit. And I do want to give y'all some good news. From what I'm looking at, it looks like TIffany maybe knocked out the box completely for the Thornton Township supervisor position unless something happens. Dun, 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 dun. Y'all like, what? Unless what? Let's go. I'm just going to share the facts.
Thornton Township Supervisor TIffany Henyard is fighting back after Tuesday's caucus booted her off the ballot.
She says the move was a clear act of voter suppression. WGN's Emmy Victor has the latest.
At an event today, Supervisor Henyard says she is not giving up. She says she's now suing her political rival for voter suppression.
What happened to us on December 3rd was short of fairness. We didn't have our opportunity to be heard.
TIffany Henyard addressing her supporters for the first time since learning she will not be on the ballot in Thornton Township next year.
Let me just stop right here, family. This is where I think that Fitzgerald was at and where he signed his paper and may had a conversation with her. And that's why she thought that she can just put him on the first petition that she put in for a lawsuit. But I just wanted to highlight that because at this particular event or whatever this was supposed to be, she petitioned for people who was there to go in the back, sign the petition. Well, she told them, I said petition, but she told them to go in the back if they were interested in supporting her and sign the petition in the back. And I think she had somebody notarizing the documents because she was collecting her evidence. That's why I'm trying to tell y'all got to play this move like chess because TIffany don't sleep whenever she get an opportunity. So during this is where I believe she collected that information. You see what I'm saying? She's like, all right, we got the people here. Let's get them notarized and sign this document. And then I bet you she tried to subpoena some of these people as well as Fitzgerald, okay? The mayor of Dixmoor.
She told me she does not accept Tuesday's caucus's results.
On December 3rd, 2024, your right to vote was hijacked by your committeeman, Senator Napoleon Harris.
Henyard, who currently serves as town supervisor, ran for re-election and lost to her rival, Napoleon Harris. Instead of a primary election, Thornton Township's Democrats held a caucus to vote for their party's candidate for supervisor. Henyard says most of her supporters weren't allowed in the packed room. A room full of Harris's supporters from an event being held in the same building before the caucus started.
We were all standing out there. No one was going in. It was past 6:30. We still could not get in.
6:40, we were still not going in. While her constituents were outside freezing, she decided to freeze with them, not knowing that they were going to conclude the whole matter before we could get in the building.
One of the only ways Henyard can still be supervisor is if her name is written in on the ballot.
I guarantee you this. She's going to either make the ballot or we're going to write her in.
Now, I have to clarify that because we're going to show you some information today that, you know, it is kind of contraindicating of what's going on. So that's why I'm kind of questioning, could she actually legally be written in? I'm not a lawyer, but I have some questions because according to the rules that we're going to look at, there may be something different, okay? All right, so let's take this off the screen, and I want to remind you guys of her refiling she did on 12/13 that did not have Mr. Dixmoor. Oh, did I put the same thing up again? Dixmoor Mayor up there. Let me move that off. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. And then y'all know I've been creeping. I found something. I'm such a geek. I found something. She updated her website, y'all. So this is the petition that was filed in court at 12/13/2024. I don't have the original, but I would assume I'm bringing this up because there has to be some type of response. So I'm hoping that there'll be a content creator like the lawyer before, if he got it, to come out. I would like to see the response of what they're saying, and contest of what she's saying. And I'm just crossing my fingers to see what they say. So look at that because it should be a filing. That was since the 13th. But look what she did. Look what our sister soldier did. She don't go down without a fight. She finally updated her website. Okay, I was gonna start. I did look at a few of her videos, and she didn't update those corny videos. But there was one video I do want to show y'all, so we can. She's trying to show receipts. Okay, so this is on Tiffany's website. Okay, call to action. This is under her call to action website. This is the real TiffanyHenyard.com. Yeah, I know. I was creeping. I can't help it. All right, let's get to it. The message from Tiffany Henyard. My Thornton Township family, I'm writing you today, not just as your leader, but as your sister in this fight for justice and fairness and for the protection of our democracy. What we witnessed at the Democratic caucus was nothing short of an affront to democracy. On Saturday, December 7th, we reflect on the injustice that occurred when hundreds of us, your friends, your family, your neighbors, stood in the cold, locked out, waiting for the opportunity to cast our votes. And while we stood there in the bitter air, they let the friends in through the side door. Let me be clear. This was not an accident. This was not a misunderstanding. This was a deliberate act of voter suppression. As we know, I told you she was going to be crying that. Sounding like Trump. We have the proof, we have the videos, we have the testimony of the witnesses, people who saw exactly what happened. This wasn't just a betrayal of the process, it was a betrayal of the people. This isn't the 1920s when women and people of color were denied the right to vote. This isn't Jim Crow, where voter suppression was written into law, but make no mistake, what happened to us was just wrong. And y'all know Tiffany didn't write this, y'all. Y'all know she ain't right. We owe it to the generations who come before us and the ones who face violation of hatred just to make sure we had this right. We owe it to our children and generations to show them that the democracy is worth fighting for. We will not let this go unanswered. We will ensure the voice of the people cannot be ignored, that this can continue. Community always stands up for what's right, and that such acts of voter suppression will never happen again. As Dr. King once said, the time is always right now to do what's right, and the time is now. Now, I don't know how she flipped a whole new leaf and forgot all the things that she did, but I'm just reading, okay, guys? I already know what y'all talk about. I already know. So this is some of the things that she's presented. Okay, without us having to read the case, she putting her case out because you know what they do? This is what prosecutors not supposed to do, lawyers really not supposed to do, but they have been doing it a lot, going on social media and presenting their case to the public. And you know what that ends up doing? That creates a strain on the jury because you don't have an unbiased jury. But that's just what she's doing, just to give you a heads up what this is. She's having her trial right in front of us, but let's read it. Unfair rules targeting TIffany Henyard. Rules was adopted specifically to prevent TIffany A. Henyard from running for 2 seats despite 2 positions being non-incompatible under the election code. Despite these positions being non-incompatible. Oh, okay. Under non-incompatible. What? The federal code. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm over here like, okay. Why did they word it like that? The federal court case has already deemed such rules illegal, making this decision as clear violation of the federal guidelines. Now, they do have some documents out there that kind of give guidelines to Illinois of what offices are really incompatible, but it does not say the mayor and the supervisor's office, okay? And it should. It should. There's plenty cases right now or that we have shown you that, you know, haven't been settled yet, but shows a great discrepancy between her position as a supervisor and as the mayor, using her power as mayor to fire people who were in positions that she wanted to do business with as a supervisor or get. Matter of fact, let's clarify this because we talk about the supervisor position as though it is like the government position. She is the welfare queen. I'm not being funny. She is the person over services for these townships. And that's it. No mayor has to listen to her. No cop has to listen to her in Thornton Township. In Dalton, I think y'all should really been trying to get her off the election ballot. I know too as well, you know, Thornton has the money thing, but Dalton is where she has the power to manipulate people and harm them. And that's where she did a lot of harm to people. Jobs, businesses shutting down. You see what I'm saying? So I really, really think that you guys should just focus on Dalton as well to see, because nobody contested her in Dalton. Nobody. Okay. So let's move on. Venue manipulations, the things that she do all the time. The committee man rented the venue hours before voting was scheduled to begin, ensuring his supporters were already inside the building before the general public arrived. And y'all know how I felt about that. That should not have happened. Napoleon was celebrating before he like, we got this shit in the bag. Let's just party before so we can just get home early. Just finish. Tiffany was like, I nominate myself. He was like, invisible people don't count. Invisible, shut up. Y'all know I'm going to run this in the hole because y'all done gave her a room to fight. Y'all done gave this lady room to fight. But it's okay because I think I see something. I think she's really knocked out the box for supervisor. Unless this case get turned over. Okay? Okay, let's just, we ain't going to jump the gun. Okay? Blocking non-supporters from entering. So, you know, that and the like allegedly was both sides out there, delaying vetting process. So that was something that was really, really important to me because I was like, yo, how were they getting these people registered? What was the legal way? How are they checking and balancing them? These are things that the judge is going to ask. So she says she's making these claims. They're going to have to prove that they did this. That's why I want the residents to realistically, you know, figure out what may happen and don't be all, don't let the content creators take you down a roller coaster. Because Grace Levi said it that night. Oh, shit. Y'all not gave TIffany a damn case. And everybody like, she out. And now look at this. We waiting. So that was one of the major things was the vetting process. And that is, like I said, I know Illinois. Okay. It, in a way, I'm gonna say it's good that Illinois is a little bit crooked because Napoleon them fucked up. And he ain't gonna get in trouble the way I think he should get in trouble as far as upholding his part as committee man. He's responsible for all of the things above in the process of that night. Now, you know, I had said it could be some misdemeanors, some, what was it, felonies that we read, but he ain't going to jail. But it was wrong. We read that, okay? So I just want to show y'all that Tiffany is still, what is it? Failure to properly vet participants in election manipulation by DOTT organization. Connect the DOTT. Who would have knew? Who would have knew Catcher Dog Smith was actually spelling something right? We all laughing at him, but that's what he was talking about. Actions by organization include bias and unfair targeting, activity undermining the democratic process, and suppression of voters' rights. So, okay, so that was a little update of Tiffany Page. She's trying to have her trial before the people. That's what you do. You see what I'm saying? Get them to start thinking about some things. But I told y'all she's trying to pull a Trump. You guys don't fall for it. As I mentioned, residents and people alike, you got to have your own agenda, not these parties' agenda. So let's get to defeated candidates. Now, I don't know if they're looking at her like a defeated candidate totally, but she is a defeated candidate, but in terms, okay? Because I can't say that totally because the process wasn't followed. But under this is the 2025 election, local election office handbook. We went over this a lot of times, but it's just more things as I go back into it. I see defeated candidates. Can you run again if you lose the primary or the caucus? Okay, primary or the caucus. An established party, and I do believe Tiffany is an established party. She's a Democrat. She's a Democrat. I don't know why she's trying to create a gray area right now. Well, it is, but in my eyes, I thought she was. That's why she showed up, dude. Because she was like, I'm part of y'all. And they was like, you're not part of the cool kids. Let me stop. I got jokes. Y'all just got to look at the video and see how people was. It was school days. Okay. So any established party candidate who filed nomination papers and who is defeated in the consolidated primary election is not eligible to have their name placed on the consolidated election ballot as an independent candidate or a candidate of another political party. You see what I'm saying? So if they don't overturn what happened, she can't run either or. And she can't switch parties in the same election. We heard that when we were listening to Nate Fields hearing. You cannot do that. You know, I had a little gray area, like when could they do it? When can they do it? Definitely not within the election. And I think the year prior is kind of like the safe zone for them. She's been a Democrat. Okay. So election ballot as an independent, they cannot, or candidate of another political party, and is not eligible to file a declaration of intent to write in candidacy in the consolidated election. So that's why I kept saying, like, you heard the news was like, she can write it in. I'm not sure at this point, especially since she's fighting it in court, which is solidifying that, hey, you a Democrat. That's where you want to be. You see what I'm saying? Any established party candidate who is a participant in a party caucus and who is nominated and defeated. Well, let's say and. Y'all know those words mean a lot. Let me read it again. And any established party candidate who is a participant in a party caucus and who is nominated and defeated at the caucus is not eligible to have their name placed on the consolidated election ballot as an independent candidate or a new party. And that is according to 10 Illinois CS 5-7. Okay, and is not eligible to file a declaration of intent to write in either. So that's what I wanted to highlight. You guys maybe want to look it up. The declaration for intent to run as an independent was yesterday, 12/26. Okay, so if she did it, that means that she did it yesterday. Okay, so maybe someone can look into that, see if she put in to be a write-in, because that was supposed to be done by the 26th yesterday. Okay. Petition objection hearing. All right. So I think that's what I wanted to show you about that. And then I'm going to Did I jump to objective format of nomination paperwork? All right, I don't want to jump to Nate Fields right that quick. Hold on, there we go. Because I got a lot of stuff up. All right, also, this is how we're going to knock Tiffany out the box, okay, guys? Don't forget, she be cheating. So y'all got to be honorable and be extra fucking petty. I'm trying to tell you, you could be honorable and still win. So I found this 2024 quick guide for political candidates. And again, there is, y'all may want to freedom of information request this from Thornton Township. I definitely know that they ain't doing it in Dalton because the trustees ain't playing. They ain't playing with her not one damn bit. But she has done this in the past. But we already know that she is not supposed to be using any type of the township money for any of her election purposes. Quick guide of Cook County campaign regulations for political candidates. So I had scrolled down to the contribution limits. We talked about that. Anyone who does not have or done significant amount of businesses with the county, $10,000 or more during the preceding 4 years, prohibited source of income. So it had no more than $10,000 for people who are outside of Cook County. Lobbyists registered to Cook County as well, individuals seeking official actions from the county, and candidate elected officials. Okay, so y'all gotta look who is giving this lady contributions. I didn't get to look at it, but because this is not for her today, but I did hear that she was taking loans. Now, she may think she's gonna win, and sometimes you have to do that, especially when you're going into something like this and you don't have a lot of funding behind you, because you have to come up with your own money, and then that'll show other people that they can invest in you because you're serious. So I can't knock her for taking a loan as long as they in her own damn name and they ain't got nothing to do with the election. We're going to get into this document in future details when we talk about Tiffany and all the other candidates. But I wanted to get in permanent prohibitions on the use of county funds for promotional materials. We have seen that now. I don't know if the promotional materials have to say directly for Mayor Henyard or for this type of person, directly for their campaign. But if she has anything going out when it comes to when she have those bingo games, things with her name on it, things that reflect election or connect to the election, this is telling you is prohibited. She's not supposed to do that. Not giving no pins, no nothing, none of that stuff, especially if she did not pay for it. Y'all remember that Carmen has said something about a company she was questioning. We're going to get into that company. I ain't going to re-say it now, but when I go into this, we're going to get into that company, okay? Because I think we're going to do that Sunday. Sunday, we're going to be getting into the numbers. I have put it off long enough. I did the numbers. I did the numbers for Thornton before, but I think that we're going to revisit it. Okay, we're going to revisit it and highlight 2023. We're going to revisit the grants and loans. We're going to just highlight the grants and loans, because one of the things that I brought up to Miss Wiedemann was, hey, what's going on with these grants and loans? Now, one of the things that I heard from her, it was like, okay, we get standard grants. And I saw that some of the grants was humongous, like during the COVID. It was kind of big. Let me see, can I do it like that? Yes, I'm back. Okay. It was kind of humongous. And then the next year they went down and down. What I was asking, and I wish we had more time because I know she would have been able to answer it, was how were you going to compensate the bills that was created based on the grant money? That's just the way life is. You get money, you win the lotto, you start spending more money, you create more bills, you have more liabilities. But for instance, you get a better car with more insurance, but you don't have the income that's coming in to sustain that lifestyle when that money run out. Does that make sense? So I'm like, how are you guys planning on getting this income in? And that wasn't a question that was answered, because we don't want all the money to be coming in from taxes, baby. That's enough. in tickets, because I will highlight that there was a content creator that talked about Delgado and Delgado alleged connection to the smart light or the speed light, something like that. And that's the one for out there for y'all. We have one out here called Speed Zone, School Zone, and it's pretty much the same thing where they're just ticking out zoo. Look, if it's 25 miles per hour, you go 36, ticket. $75, ticket. And then we know it's not law, because what I'm finding out here, and I don't know if you guys are experienced that, because it's going across the whole United States. These are private companies. They won't suspend your license if you don't pay for it, but they won't let you re-register your car for the county. Does that make sense? That's why I know this is a slow takeover and a slow push in to make something mandatory. Because as much as we acquiesce to these tickets that's coming in, as more as they're going to give it to us, and then it's going to become law. So that's where I think they're going to be getting that money from, the tickets and fines. And, that's what you have to pay attention to, especially one of the things it was mentioned that the trustees of Dalton, I'm going to between, Dalton had lowered the fines. And that was something that we talked about here. He's like, damn, the fines too damn much. And they lowered the fine. And one of them was for dog catching. And then the thing is that regardless if they lower the fines, if they don't fix the issue and don't have an actual animal control there, it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? They're just putting a Band-Aid on it. So these are some of the things that you guys are going to have to pay attention to, because there's still like Band-Aids being put on stuff. Does that make sense? And they're not really totally being addressed. So I know I kind of went off on a tangent just a little bit, but that was something that we're going to pay attention to. We're going to get into the numbers of Thornton. We're going to look at the grants. We're going to look at where the income is coming from. I didn't see much, as I told y'all. And that's some of the things you need to talk to your candidates about. Very important. Okay. So we'll get back into where Tiffany is possibly spending money at. Possibly. We don't want to give you no fake information. Now let's get to this. I think we're about to get to it. Now, the issue. Did I do it? I think I have a little video here. Can I show you a little video? Hopefully it's short. We're going to fast forward it. I want you guys to get a little flashback of what happened to Nate. I tried to cut it up as much as possible, but I wanted you guys to hear what actually caused him to be knocked off the ballot. The things that I thought he would have been knocked off the ballot for, he wasn't. They said one of the documents didn't have his what was it? The candidacy. They said it didn't have he was an independent or something. It was something about a description. And I thought that would have held more weight on the document, but it didn't, because it was a notarized document. It was supposed to be like the intent to run, and they're supposed to put if they were Democrat or independent. I know they were trying to contest about something really like that, but I would have thought that would have helped a little weight. This situation right here, I think there's two ways that Nate can represent himself. A lot of what the actual lawyer showed, she gave him some good information. But let's see if I could put this video on real quick and then get y'all caught up to what actually happened to Nate. And then we're going to get into a little bit of case law. We'll teach you a little bit about it. We're about to do 15 minutes.
Hold on. Statement of candidacy to the nomination petition. Okay. So when Mr. Fields was arguing, he was arguing more about the binding of the petition.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I did a 15-minute little section. I'm like, we're not about to watch 15 minutes, baby. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm on the right page, y'all. Okay. Oh, and thank you. Let me get to the comments. Somebody said something about my hair. As soon as I said, I started cracking up. Let me get to the comments before I read I get to the video. Thank you for being with us, because we mid in the afternoon. Love you. Thank you so much, A-Spot. You look so pretty today. Thank you. Your hair looks great. And you know, as soon as you said that, I'm so natural. I was about to say it's a wig. I can't help it. I hate wigs, y'all. My hair will be braided the next time y'all see me by Sunday. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know, I know how to turn it on and turn it off. Hey, Grace and everyone, we're voting for Nate for supervisor in Riverdale. Oh, good. Thank you for joining us today. So we're going to give you some hope because I really do believe Nate has a strong position. 2 strong positions, okay? Was a little shady there that day. And Gonzalez kind of told on himself. Regardless of what happens, keep your underage daughter away from Mr. Dots. Oh Lord, don't get me in trouble, okay? We just gonna leave that right there. I'm not going, freedom of speech, okay? Tiffany never tried to get signatures as an independent candidate for supervisor. She never wrote to ask to be included in the caucus. So she will not be a major party candidate either. This lawsuit, I mean, I think this is the only way that she could try to reverse it. But at the end of the day, if you ain't wanted, you're not wanted. You're not wanted. If she's insisted that she participates in the Democratic caucus, then there is a state law which says that her write-in votes won't count either. See, she has to choose, right? You can't go both ways. She can't, but she's already participated, right, Mr. Roberts? She participated by showing up, being a Democrat, having her stuff out early, all that blue. I don't want to hear nothing about independent at this point. She cannot go in as independent. And then as you saw what they said, once you lose, and if that is not reversed by way of the courts, then she can't even participate either way. So we kind of got a win-win situation. At the end of the day, historically, scheduled caucus is not open to the public. It's only open to party members. So her argument is mooted. I don't know where you see that at. You have to show me the law because I have not seen that. Everywhere that I've seen when it came to this election out there, it said the voters had to be signed in. It's open to the public. I can come into the caucus if I was a Democrat living out there. And I would have said, hey, Grace, I nominate her. Or I could have did what Tiffany did. I nominate myself. So it wasn't saying that I was going to win, but the floor is open for everybody to nominate who's a registered voter. So if you have some facts behind that, Nate, show me the proof, because that's what we're doing here. We're pulling up the law around here. I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much. I called the Dawson City Hall and asked them to change the name of Martin Luther King to Tiffany Henyard Boulevard. Come on, folks. She's a civil rights legend. You trolling. I'm going to have to troll you. Go ahead. Moving forward, nothing that Napoleon did was illegal. Whatever that is. Everything was illegal. What it was. It was illegal. It was illegal. It was. I'm just an honest Susie. Shit. I'm like, yo, you know you did wrong. Why the you want to mess up your karma? Okay. It says, let's just look at do y'all have anything good to say? I'm gonna highlight some of the good comments and say something for later. Has anyone voted in the presidential caucus? You see me get quiet. Hey, Javar, some things I just don't know what to say to. So if I don't know what you're talking about, baby, I'm going to just shut up. I'm not about to, whatever you talking about, sir. Show me what you're talking about. Hey, Javar. Hey, Grace. It is possible if we can have an interview with Nate Fields Jr. You have to ask Nate. Like you say, y'all, okay, people here, I have gave up hope on interviews. That's not my big thing to do interviews. I think I will be a good interviewer because I ask questions, but because of the township that we deal with and the way they perceive things, I'm not the best show to go on for some apparent reasons. So if someone ever interview him and would like me to email him some questions, now I could do that. I'm open. I'm cool. Like, I understand the vibe that we in. So if they ever want to, y'all better get ready. We're going to ask some good ass questions here, but I think that he will be interviewing with someone coming up soon. And I hope that he's able to execute his interview good, express what happened, how he won, and how he got back on the ballot. How you already like how he won and how he got back on the ballot. A powerful law firm could slow it down, but she doesn't have the money. Yeah, I mean, Tiffany don't like defeat. I think she should take this defeat and keep it moving, okay? All right, so let's move on. Now we're going to get, because we're 35 minutes in, and I think I just have a few things to show y'all. I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to get to all of you comments, get to all of y'all comments as soon as we kind of get through this. So let's play this video real quick, and it's just a little portion so you guys could kind of remember what happened. Is it there? Shout out to Burgundy Blue because I used her content. Let's play it.
To appeal. Okay? That objection is over. Good job. Next we'll go on the failure to bind the statement of candidacy to the nomination petition. Okay. So when Mr. Fields was arguing, he was arguing more about the binding of the petitions as a whole. But what the objector's argument is not that the petitions themselves weren't bound, but is that the statement of candidacy itself was not bound within the petition. Now, as a practitioner, I can tell you that we always put the statement of candidacy with petitions because that's what we believe generally needs to be done, and usually we feel that, especially to make sure everything is all nice and tight and neat and everything's going where it needs to go.
As she's letting them know, as a practitioner, that's formal. She's giving them a heads up.
The law on this is a little tricky though.
Okay.
So the law does in fact require that the nomination papers be neatly fastened in book form by placing the sheets in a pile and fastening them together at one edge in a secure and suitable manner. The election code also states that nomination papers must include a statement of candidacy under section 10-5. The election code does not specifically state, however, that the statement of candidacy needs to be bound within the nomination petition. So there has actually been a lot of litigation on this issue. The Nader case, this is Nader, N-A-D-E-R versus Bill.
So what we're going to do, I wanted you to hear what she said. And she went over a few cases, and I'm going to go over a few other cases. I think we got the Nader case here, and I just want to show you what she was doing to make the determination that Nate should have not been excluded. And I found another case that she did not cite that may highlight that when it's biased within the election board, that maybe that person shouldn't be over another candidate. We just gonna look at that case real quick, and I'm gonna kind of break down how we look at case law, okay? This is for information and educational purposes only. I am a legal researcher. That's what I like to do. Now, this is the 2025 candidacy paperwork first. We're gonna just look at that before. Let me back in that circle again. And then we're going to get to some of the cases we're talking about. So the formation of nomination paperwork. Am I in the corner somewhere? Put my butt back in the corner. All right. So election laws prescribe a general format of nomination paperwork to be submitted when seeking nomination for each office. The state board election has prepared suggested forms for petition statements of candidacy and other applicable forms. The official SBE form number to be used is included under each office in its guidelines. Local election offices are advised to contact the election authorities, county clerk, or board of election commission regarding the availability of forms. So we're going to look at that. That's one of the last things I want to show you, because that's one of the things okay, so basically the way I'm going to show you is how I will show a lawyer, my lawyer, that I will want to represent me in this. Now, y'all know, guys, I like to represent myself. I like pro se, but there's certain things in certain states you don't want to mess with. I think Illinois is one of them. And I do believe that Maryland is another one. I stood up in Jersey. Georgia could be tricky, depending on the lawyer. But certain ones are very complicated, and it's good to have a lawyer. But my suggestion is always be ready to lead and guide your lawyer. Okay, so you can kind of think out the box and show them that you know that they're not just going to be charging you anything and doing anything. Okay, so this is talking about the objections. This talks about the format. Nomination paperwork may be filed or mailed in, either the candidate or the representative of the candidate. So this is where you'll find the basis. This information right here is something that if you're handing in a response to an appeal, you wouldn't cite this information. This is something that you'll cite while you're talking, and not putting it in the paperwork, just giving you a heads up. State regs today, this was just a general resource. Now I'm telling you what type of sources this is, because people be like, provide the receipts. I do, and I want you to know the level of receipts. So these are some of the things that Nate was supposed to do and other candidates were supposed to do. Just generally. Ballot access rules for candidates in Illinois. So filing requirements, candidate must file petition with the appropriate election authority by established deadlines. As we know, the number of signatures required for each office varies and based upon the percentage of total voters cast for the office, and that would apply to him because he was an independent, so he didn't need as many signatures as other people. Talked about the signature requirements, and that there were some candidates whose signatures was questioned. That was another thing that I said you guys should do, question the signatures that Tiffany had brought in for Dalton. She didn't do nothing for Thornton, but for Dalton, whatever signature she had, y'all was supposed to cross-reference them and everything. You know what I'm saying? She allegedly practiced fraud, allegedly. I don't want her to come back and win and act like Trump and start suing everybody. He won that big lawsuit. We living in rare times, baby. We living in rare times. That's why I'm very careful what I do. Also, nomination papers. Candidate must also file nomination papers with their petition, which includes their name, address, and party affiliations if applicable. Party affiliation in Illinois, major parties must hold primary elections to determine the candidates for general election. Independent candidates can bypass this process by gathering enough signatures on a petition, and that's what Nate did. Election code provisions. All candidates must comply with the various provisions of the Illinois election code, including disclosure of campaign contributions and reported expenditures. This is something that you guys need to do continuously for Henyard, especially in Dalton. Dalton, y'all sleeping. Y'all like, nobody like Henyard. Nobody's gonna vote for her. Fuck around and find out. Somebody showed up at that caucus. There were people outside. They was outside enough to get the news attention. I'm dead serious. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Special rules for congressional candidates. We don't need that. Judicial candidates, deadlines. Petition and nomination paperwork must be filed by established deadlines that varies depending on the type of elections and the office being sought. Now, they almost contested Nate, one of the deadlines that said that he had put in his financial I think his financial document late, but that was found not to be correct. And that's why you guys need to know the law, the cases, and pay attention to what you're doing when you're doing stuff, because you have these people putting all these frivolous type of filings on him, and he had to sit there and stand up for himself. Let me look at this real quick. Write-in candidacies. So did we go into the write-in candidacy? We did go into write-in candidacy. If I didn't, did I go into the write-in candidacy for Henyard? Let me know, because I just talked about hold on. Yeah, all I had to share with you guys. Let me just make sure. All I had to share with you guys was that she was supposed to be, if she was able to write in, she was supposed to do it from the yesterday. Hold on. I think I had this back up there again. Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm not missing out on nothing that I wanted to tell y'all, because it was a lot to go through this. I was racking my brain because reading case law is not fun, y'all. It's not fun and it's not easy. And I'm going to explain to y'all. I'm like, but I did it. Okay, types of candidates. And let me just say the 18, just to make sure independent candidate, write-in candidates. Okay. So the declaration of intent form was supposed to be filed yesterday. That's the form that she's supposed to write, file in to say that she was going to be a write-in ballot. So please petition that to see if she did that, if she had the cahoots to do that. Write-in candidate qualify for general election. Write-in candidate running for the primary to qualify as a candidate for established political party in general election. She lost, so she can't do that. A write-in candidate must receive a number of votes that is equal or greater than the number of signatures required for the petition. Exactly, Mr. Roberts. No signatures, no nothing for Thornton. She can't even do it. She can't do write-in at all. That's why I said I'm missing something. I knew it was something with the write-in candidacy. So a write-in candidate must receive the number of votes that is equal to or greater than the number of signatures required on the petition for that office. If the number of candidates whose name appears on the primary ballot is less than the number of persons, the party is entitled to nominate the elected. So even if she wanted to do that, she supposed to got a certain number of signatures. But who signed for Napoleon though? Right? I'm just saying. They said compared to the person who was already nominated, right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, it says that. Let me read. Well, who signed for Napoleon? Don't be telling me Tiffany got a chance. Let me reread this real quick. How I just got epiphany, like what? Okay, so let's read this together. For write-in candidates running in a primary to qualify as a candidate for the established political party in the general election, a write-in candidate must receive the number of votes that is equal to or greater than the number of signatures required on a petition for that office. If the number of candidates whose name appear on the primary ballot is less than the number of persons, the party is established to nominate or elect to the office a primary election. All right. So the number of voters required for a write-in candidate to be nominated or elected to the office of the primary, as outlined above. The number of votes they receive exceed the number of votes received by the last one of the candidates whose name was printed on the ballot for nominee. Ooh. The number of candidates whose names appears on the ballot equal or exceed the numbers of person party is entitled to nominee. So you think she got some signatures? What you think? Let me find out. Mr. Roberts, I need your help. How I just read that like, woo, what the hell? Because I know ain't nobody writing no damn Napoleon there. His ass was like, I'm here. Let me stop. I'm being real. We're gonna have to revisit that. It's getting in line. It's getting kind of hectic, okay? We're gonna it was something. I'm glad I brought that up. We're gonna revisit that to see. Somebody better FEMA Information Act that. All right. So this is one of the cases that that the lawyer had brought up in regards to Nate. I'm gonna put the case up there, and I'm gonna put my man Nate Fields, my 100 grand man, on the screen. So remember who we are focusing on today. You know, I was talking about Henyard as well, but we want to switch the focus to Nate today because we do have people who support Nate. As I mentioned to you guys, it is important for you guys to have an agenda. You as the residents, the things that you really need to address come with the first 5 top things that affect your community, and then maybe an action plan, maybe present it to someone like Nate or someone who's running for supervisor like Napoleon. If you ever could get him to pick up the phone, I'm just playing. He's too exclusive. But anyway, get him to pick up the phone. You can talk about some of these things. So this is why I think it's important to keep your options open, because at the end of the day, it's all about you guys. It's really not about these political parties. I mean, for real. If you ain't for the people, I could just. So this is what I want to give y'all a heads up about cases. Now, these cases, what end up happening? Cases can be used to help solidify another case, or actually to create precedents, like Roe versus Wade. I remember that, where that created the woman's right to have abortions, even though that was reversed, and now that law is taken away. That is just an example of what a case can do. and that case can create a precedent and create a law. Okay, so in these cases that we present to you, they kind of present a precedent that could be used for cases or situations such as what Nate is in. People use case laws for cases that are not typical, cases that need to get a little bit more insight in judge's opinion. Now, when you're looking at these documents is ridiculous. First thing that you could do is go on Google Scholar. If y'all don't know, I'm not going to show y'all a tutorial. This is not primetime home buyers. I will do it, but y'all could go on Google Scholar and put the area that you're looking for. It can be state court, appellate court, located in what state. So we focus on Illinois, and what I did in the search engine was basically look at election petitions and statement of candidacy cases. So I just put that in, and then it started pulling up some cases. It did bring up the first case that the lawyer was talking about, the Courtney versus the county office elector. And here in that case, I'm gonna give you what happened. So the first thing you need to do when you're looking at this stuff, just to give you a heads up, there's gonna be a lot of facts that's presented to you. All the facts that's presented to you in this document does not apply to your case. You have to look at what is the issues that they're addressing when they go to the appellate court. There can be more than one issue. In Nate's case, it's only one issue, which is the fact of the binding of the papers. So you want to find quick cases that focus in on that. And I do think he has another issue. Now, I don't know how strict this appellate court is in relation to adding an argument to it, because let's say this: you got a criminal court case and you found guilty and you want to appeal it. You have to have a constitutional base, administrative base, or something in relation to what was already presented. That's why you see lawyers like just throw a lot of shit in the game, like just get it on the record. If y'all watch YSL lawyer did it plenty of times. Like, okay, judge, I know what you're saying, but I'm just putting it on the record because he know he has to appeal it, and that's usually the only things that they allow to be re-looked at. So with this is why I think Nate needs a lawyer to see what he can actually reincorporate into this, because I think he has two grounds to appeal the decision. Not only the fact that the cases that we showed you, but I do believe that there was some bias that have taken place, and there is court cases. There's a court case here that I'm going to show it to you. So make sure you know what facts you're looking for, because you could get lost in this daggone thing. What issues that you want to pull out, okay? Because you don't need to cite the whole thing. You just need to cite what it has to do with your case, what rules is being addressed. And again, the rules that we're being addressed here is the election rules for Illinois. So this needs to highlight Illinois. Let me make sure. Hold on one second. Y'all know I'm over here being a teacher. It has to highlight. Let me get back to Illinois law. Give me 1 second, because I want to say the right thing. The election codes that's highlighted in this section in 10 Illinois CS 5 and 4. Okay, that's what I wanted to highlight, because I don't want to say anything. I'll be all over the place, y'all. I'm in real estate, healthcare, criminal police stuff, so just bear with me. I'll be having to try to remember. So now we're looking at those factors, the rules, and the analysis, and what was the outcome. Now here in this case right here, the analysis is you gotta quick read, but certain things on the highlight to you. This analysis: petitioner contended that his failure to simultaneously file his statement of candidacy with his nomination petition sheet did not mandate that his name be stricken from March 21st, 2020 ballot. Specifically, petitioner candidates that the filing of his petition sheet and statement of candidacy within the statutory prescribed filing period constitutes substantial compliance with the requirement of Illinois Election Code 10.5-1, even though he did not file both documents at the same time. So this is right here. When you first get it, you like, bam, here we go. Now, this is highlighted in this particular case, Courtney versus the county, and that's why the lawyer brought it up. Now, there's other things up here. It says respondent contended that the election statute expressly declare the submission of the statement of the candidates with nomination petition to be mandatory. Okay, this is what Keith Price was saying, that it's mandatory that it has to be together. But in this right here, it's saying that it don't. His response specifically contained that the petitioner failure to simultaneously file his statement of candidacy and petition sheets validates his candidacy pursuant to this section. So he's saying it, since I did it in a timely manner, it wasn't late, and these two things are separate. This is correct. So in this case right here, plain and simple, this is why she pulled it up. Now, this is what you got to highlight when you read just a little bit more. These are certain the factors that Nate can argue or add into his argument. Okay, just for filing purposes or representation purposes, information education purposes only. The general right here says the general purpose, and you highlight this too. The general purpose of election laws is to obtain fairness and honest elections to obtain a correct expression of the intent of voters. So does this binding of the paper has any expression of hardship on the people or the voting process? And this is the law. This is the case behind that. This is other things that he can add on to it as he's writing in his reply. Okay. So, minor procedure, statutory violations during caucus to select slates of candidates from the Democratic Party to run for township did not violate election proceedings. Now, this is something different. A court under, and now this is something different. This is another part of it. And if Napoleon and them want to get a case that supports them having a slate, this case can be used as well. Do you see how it's going to be a lot of facts that's brought up in this analysis that you can just pull bit by bit? You don't need the whole thing. You just need the bit. So this not jump to another place where somebody had another case. I just showed you an example, and they can use this as well. Okay. And then they'll read the case and see if they can find anything else. Now, this was one. We're going to move on to another one. This is one that was already presented to you guys, and I wanted to show you just to give you a foundation of what you look for when you're looking at this stuff. Okay. And how you use it to your benefit. I think here we go. Oh, okay. This is another part to that case. This was another part to that case that she highlighted. There we go. And I pulled up Ballantyne case as well. And I think I found something good. Now, this is still Courtney versus Courtney. I had to highlight what parts that I wanted. And I think I put it in another window. So it says the practitioner cites Ballantyne in support of his assertion that he has substantially complied with the election code and should therefore be placed on March 21, 2000 ballot. In the Ballantyne, the court held the petition failure to file their statement of candidacy simultaneously with their nomination papers did not mandate the removal of a candidate from the ballot. So this is another law right here that he can use, Ballantyne, that supports the Courtney case, that says that because these two were filed together, a little separate, and it wasn't, he's just saying they wasn't binded together. Not that Nate left, came back and did it. It was the same exact time, but he's saying binding, and we're going to get to that as well. Here, while we do read the affirmation statute and mandating the filing of the statement of candidacy, it is mandating it. We do not read the above referenced statute as mandating that the statement of candidacy be filed simultaneously with the nomination petition sheet. So that's why we're going to look at the law, because it should say that. It shouldn't be a separate statute. And that's what the lawyer was trying to say. She was like, you can't misconstrue them together. Now we're going to read another case where it says that. All right. Now in here, it goes on to say, okay, here's while we do read, okay, here we go. Let's move it forward. We do not read the above referenced statute as mandated that the statement of candidacy be filed simultaneously with the nomination petition sheet. Where the statute does not expressly declare its provision to be mandatory or compliant, therefore to be essential to its validity. So it's saying it didn't say that these have to be put together and bonded together, which makes one valid or invalid. The failure to strictly comply is not fatal in absence of fraud. So they're just looking at fatal non-compliance, things that will affect the community and the election process. There's not really pettiness in the way that these statutes are put up. That's basically what it's saying. It just says it's not like strict compliance when it comes to the formation of certain papers unless it say that. And we're going to show you where it says that as well, where it's certain things that they are supposed to do. So that's two cases that Nate can bring up. Okay, that says directly that you don't have to file them simultaneously, but he did. They're just saying they wasn't binded. So this one is Gert versus Keith. Let me just look at this real quick. I'm gonna put it on because I had to take a little brief note. Man, y'all had me back in law school. I'm like, okay, how to remember all your case law? Do a damn summary. So I have a little summary. So the issue is okay. Hold on. I think this has to do with due process. Hold on one second. Let me get to this. The hearing keep objection, the following testimony. Oh, do I got it highlighted already? I do. Thank you, Jesus. Because it's hard to go back and find this stuff. Woo! Okay, the issue in this case are whether due process was violated with the petition appellant Richard Gorth, that's his name, was denied the right to be listed on a candidate for mayor on the ballot of February 25th, 2003, primary election in the city of Brentwood. And if so, whether such violation can be considered a harmless error. So this is again the determination of the severity of the issue. And they're not saying that Nate even didn't comply with the law, because we're going to show you he did everything. So in this case right here is determining what is the amount of harmless error can be done related to a nomination in their petition. Following Gert's filing of his statement of candidacy and nominating petition for mayor, Kenneth Keith filed several objections alleging Gert's failure to comply with certain requirements in Illinois' election code. The municipal office election board of the city of Brentwood scheduled a hearing on the objection. Gert moved to have the city clerk. Now, this is another aspect. These are facts. And I just kind of was like, ooh. So this guy, not only harmless error that we got to keep in consideration, he went even further. And what he did was he put a motion and Gert moved to have the city clerk, Susan, replaced on the board due to her alleged bias. But this motion was denied. Following the hearing, the board sustained Keith's objection and held that Gert's name will not be placed on the ballot. Gert sought judicial review, and the circuit court of Will County affirmed the election board decision. Gert appealed, and the appellate court found that Gert's due process right had been violated by affirming the circuit court finding the error to be harmless. So that was one thing. Gert petitioned to leave to leave up appeal pursuant to the Supreme Court rule, we have permitted an independent voters of Illinois, the Fallon. Okay, so examining of the records. Hold on one second. So this is one of the things where he brought up the petitioner. I didn't go deeper into. I should have read it a little bit more because he went into the petitioner was the clerk, or not the petitioner. I do apologize. The clerk overseeing his hearing. Now I have another case that kind of go into that, where the board error denying clerk motion sustained based on final judicial review. Hold on, fair hearing before the board. The reason apparently. Hold on. Oh, okay. Here we go. Dang, y'all read fast. I got it. Oh, it says the board also erred in denying Gerth motion to substitute based on his finding that judicial review would ensure that Gerth received fair hearing before the board. This reason apparently originated in the objection of Cook, have since he have used several Illinois courts to reject claims, procedures, due process violations where an objector or candidate argued he would not receive fair hearing before an electoral board. So he referenced Ryan versus Lindark, and this is another case where I highlight that he will not receive fair hearing in front of an election board. And I think that's why I think that Nate needs to speak to a lawyer, because if he can add this to his appeal, because Gonzalez told on himself. And we're going to read that article where Gonzalez basically say, it could be perceived as bias, but I just went with the best decision. And it was Gonzalez's vote that got him out. And Gonzalez is already on a ticket with the person who he's supposed to run against, which is Napoleon. That's what I said. There's a lot of bias going on in Dalton, and it got to be more people who can fill these positions. They should not have 3 and 4 positions. And this is why we have this. So I think that this is something that Nate needs to look into and speak to a lawyer about, because if he can object more, like add more onto his appeal, then this something should be added. And the reason why I'm questioning that, because I don't know all genres of law, but I definitely know criminal law. If you appeal, you can't add nothing else to that damn case. And that's the same thing with civil cases. You can't add more to the cases. You need to get all that out there. Say everything you want to, so you can pull that in front of the higher court and they can determine if it was administrative issues, constitutional issues, things like that. Does that make sense? So this is what I would have been asking my lawyer about. Let me see. I think I have another case. It is Bellantine. That one. See, when you read one, it can lead you to another. That's why I said it took me a little time, because you got to read everything, and everything don't apply to his case. It don't apply to what's going on with Nate. So thank you guys for having patience for me, and also learning a little bit today. You know what we do here. So when you go to your lawyer, you're going to be like, yeah, this is the case I saw related. Could you use this? And I'm like, how the hell you know that? Grace Levi, geeky ass, teaching us how to do pro se. Yeah, I'll be the first. I'm not about to lose, especially with some of these lawyers, and you're not about to extract all this money from me. I'm gonna figure out, we're gonna go hand in hand. I will be your legal secretary today. All right, so this is Bellantine. I do apologize, in Bardwell. So let me see. Did I highlight here? I think. Okay. I know it was 5. I'm supposed to look at. All right. Choose that the filing nomination within the filing. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Filing. Okay, let me see. Let me go into the background information first, because there's something about this that I want to show. Oh, you know what? Let me go into my notes. You see what I'm saying? I got to go back to school days. I took little notes on this. Balancing. I should have this up here. All right. 2. Okay, here we go. Balloting. What I found significant in this is part 3. I think it's part 3 and 5. Let's get to it. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. I was about to say, do I gotta go through all of this? Now, okay, part 3 and 5 of this. So did you basically know the little background behind this is plaintiff Richard Ballantyne. It says Dan Davis, all of these names filed a nomination petition and loyalty oath with the clerk of the village of Robinson, requesting that their names be printed on the ballot for April 2nd, 1985 municipal election as candidates for the new United Idea Party, a newly formed political party. On January 18th, 1985, some 4 days after filing a nomination petition, but within the filing period set forth under 10-6 of the election code, plaintiff filed their statement of candidacy. So they did it separate days. Okay, this was one that is related to Nate Fields. So they did it totally separate days. It's an old case. It's 1985, but it's still it set precedents. The other ones was like 2020. 2021 is 2003, so they was much better. The objective petition was filed with the village clerk on January 26th. Complainant nomination paperwork was defective. One, the statement of candidacy was not filed simultaneously with the nomination petition. Plaintiff party name impermissibly included the name of the established party in violation. So they were other things going on as well. But I'm just focusing on what we worried about is the filing of the petition. But you see how you can read and you can find other violations that probably pertain to it. If he had to, you remember that issue I told you about the party name and things like that? And that was what I'm reading is a minor error. But, if it was something significant in the election board found, that the objections was good, he could have used these cases as well. Okay, the hearing was held. So now let's get to 3. It's moving down. 2, defendant next contests that pursuant to section 1-3 election code petition of candidacy include the statement of candidacy such that the petition referred to section 10-4 above the mandate thereof attached necessary in compensation not only to the circular affidavit, but also to the statement of candidacy. So that petition is a circular affidavit. We find defendant extension of the plain language of the defense set forth in section 1-3 to be unwarranted. Now what they're trying to do is unwarranted. Now let's listen. The definition of the term within the legislative enactment will be sustained to the exclusive of hypothetical. It's like theoretical. I'm saying it wrong. Theoretical. So let's say I'm saying it. I can't even get it off my damn tongue. Indulgent. So you can't use hypothesis. You can't use what you think it says. You can't make an inference, okay? Because the word ain't coming out my mouth. It says theoretical. That's what it says. So you can't take what the law says and make it into your own. The appellate court cannot restrict or enlarge the plain meaning of an unambiguous statute. We can't emphasize it. We can't mutate it. We can't put it together. Okay. When the language of the statute is clear and unambiguous, the only legitimate function of the court is to enforce the law as enacted by the legislator. So clearly and unambiguously statements that are defined of petition of candidacy. So I'm going to show you both documents. Petition of candidacy set forth therein as used in section 7-10 election code. It says the legislator therefore expressly limits that definition to those sections of the code. So that petition is for that code, okay? As an appellate court and in the absence of ambiguity, don't laugh at the way I'm pronunciating. I am Haitian and I am Ebonics in me, so shut up. We cannot enlarge the plain meaning of the statute to encompass the interpretation, okay, defendant urges. We can't interpret, we can't put those two things together. That's what this is saying. We therefore find that section 1.3.12, which explicitly refers to section 7-10 and 710-1, that the terminology used therefore is in opposite to the intent use. So basically, what they're saying is that what Keith Price did in hyperinflating both of these statutes and putting them together with the petition is one thing to be bonded, and the declaration of candidacy is something that's supposed to be included, but it never said to be binded. And that's what we're going to show you here today. That's why I say he has a good case. It's just how it's presented, because these courts are so funny. Okay. I remember I had to file my own per se lawsuit in Maryland 3 times until I got it right. And I was like, fuck this, I'm getting a lawyer. She was like, you just gotta fix this. I'm like, ah, damn. Okay. So y'all see how that makes sense right there? Now we got another case. One more again. Okay. Y'all know I had to dig in just a little bit. It wasn't easy for me. This is YA versus Chicago Board of Election. What years? 1990. 2019. All right. So y'all see how Nate has a case? After I finish this, we're going to get to your questions, your comments. Thank you for being here with Grace Levi. I'm grateful that you guys are interested in this, because this is very important information. And obviously, you see I love it. I'm okay with this type shit right here, dog. Okay, let me start. I got to make it fun. All right, so this is another case, YA versus Chicago Board of Election. Let me just I did highlight. I just want to make sure the signature was valid. I want to make sure. I want to get to the point. Okay, this is about the bonded papers. Okay, now this is a case that has crushed the idea of bonded paperwork, and then we're going to get into what they say as far as the law. All right, cool, good. I'm glad I got this highlighted. So again, has to do with elections being contested. And it says, in this appeal, Zerlin Smith filed nomination papers to appear on the ballot for alderman in the 29th Borough of Chicago in the general municipal election to be held on February 26, 2019. Washington objected to Smith nomination papers, asserting in relevant parts that Smith nomination papers was invalid because her nomination papers were not securely bonded at the time of filing as required by Section 10.4. All right. Now, after hearing where Washington was allowed discovery, the board produced requested documents, and Washington did not produce any witness on the issue of whether nomination paper was securely bonded at the time of filing. The hearing officer recommended that the board overrule Washington's objective. The board therefore held a hearing where Washington counsel argued his petition but presented no witness. The board, with one commissioner designated, adopted the hearing officer recommendation, overruling Washington objective and ordering Smith's name be printed on the ballot. Washington filed a petition for judicial review of the board decision in circuit court in Cook County. The circuit court affirmed findings that the board decision was not clearly erroneous. Washington appealed. We granted Washington motion to expedite the appeal, and for the reason of the following. So he appealed and he still lost. Okay. So you see that right there, securely bonded. That's just another case that shows you that you don't have to do those things. Okay. And that is not a major error that will lead to fraud or a defect in the election process. Okay. It says one commissioner then noticed that the council was able to remove sheets from this pile, which was held together with two-pronged device without touching or manipulating the device. This just simply removed the sheets themselves. The board also reviewed the photographs where they admitted into evidence and hearing. Even if they show all of that, they still lost. All right, so that is another case that's highlighting that those papers don't need to be bonded together. But then let me show you, that's another thing, because I'll be right in front of my lawyer like, look, y'all, look at it. All right, let me show you what they're talking about. All right. Hold on. So here is the election forms. We'll just show you the election forms. This is the Illinois election form. You'll find all of the candidate guidelines. And I went into 3 petition form and statement of candidacy. So this petition form is separate from the statement of candidacy. That's first and foremost. Me, I'm looking at this. These are 2 separate actions. So this is the petition form and the statement of candidacy. I'll show you. Hold up. What is this? Hold on one second. I pushed the wrong thing. Statement of candidacy. Here we go. For independent. Do I got it up there twice? Yeah. All right. This is the statement of candidacy. So this was what Nate Fields was supposed to be submitting along with the petition, and I'm going to show you the petition. All right, here it has its own binding statement, its own notary, and this was something that was supposed to be attached to the petition. It says attached to petition. It doesn't say bind. It says exactly what to do. It says attached to petition. Now we're going to look at the petition. And this is some of the things I will show if I was representing myself. It says attached to petition. It did not say bind to petition. So this is the statement of, hold on one second. I'm going to pull it up. What is this? Hold on, babes. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Now, this was the petition that they circulated around. Bear with me. Gotta find where I'm at. All right. This is the petition where they were circling around, which is a separate document. Here we go. You see that? This was the one where people have hundreds of these pages. I don't even know how the clerk have to stamp all of them, but she do. She has to stamp all of them when they submit it and everything. This was a separate form. This is the form that all y'all signatures goes on. This was supposed to be notarized, and address and all of these are supposed to be checked. Okay. So it says bind here. This is what I'll be showing. I'm petty. It's right here in front of you. It says bind here, and the other one says attach here. Okay? 2 different things. These can be up to hundreds of pages. That's why they want it binded, and you only bind it in one place. And I'm going to show you. So you see the difference? You see what they've been talking about here, what Nate was supposed to do, and all of these supposed to have been together and all this nonsense, but that is not the truth. Now, let me see where I'm at. Petition nomination general. Okay, let's get to this. Long paragraph, but we're going to break down what it says. Bear with me. We coming to the end. Oh my God, we're an hour and a half into this. Jesus, I've been getting it in. Lord, thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, here we go. I can't get this bigger, but I will leave these links at the bottom for you guys. So you know this is 10 Illinois 510-4. This was what she was talking about the lawyer. About all practitioners and nomination of this article for candidacy for public office in the state shall, in addition and other requirements provided by law, the following such petition shall consist of. So I'm going to read to you what it says. It says petition. It didn't say statement of candidacy and petition. This is highlighting what the petition is supposed to be. That's why you got media. I'll be straight petty. Okay. I just need my lawyer to file the paperwork. I can argue myself like Nate. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So it says such petition shall consist of sheets of uniform size, and each sheet shall contain above the space for signatures an appropriate heading, given the information as the name of the candidates, everything that you saw on there supposed to be viewable, and such other information are worded in requirement to make same ballot. So everything on that paper is supposed to be filled out, and the heading of each sheet shall be the same. Such petition shall be signed by qualified voters in their own proper person, only and opposite the signature of each signer. His residence address shall be written or printed. The residence address required to be written or printed opposite. So we see all of that. I'm going to get down to the binding because it talks about everything that's on that paper in detail. So if it's telling you where, what's supposed to be, these things that's supposed to be signed that I showed you, the signature page, it says the rule routing number of the signature as the case may be. So if there's a rural area, they want details about that. They want information about the city, village, town. You see how petty they are? This came in real detail. The reason why I'm reading this to you, because this is about the petition, what they want in detail. And you're not going to see anywhere where it says it has to be binded to the statement of candidacy. Okay, so it says, except otherwise provided in this code, no signature shall be valid or be counted in consideration to be valid or sufficient of such petition unless the requirements of the sections are compiled with. And it says the bottom of each sheet's petition shall be added the circular statement. So I want to correct this because I know it says certain parties couldn't have other people circulate their petition, but it did look like some parties can. So I just wanted to correct that because it says something, because I was like, nobody can circulate nobody else stuff. But I think as an independent candidate, Nate was supposed to circulate his own. So he even talks about the circulation of the paper, who's supposed to circulate it. Now, okay, let's get down to it. Here we go. Except as otherwise provided by this code, no petitioner sheet shall be circulated more than 90 days preceding the last day provided in section 10.6 for the filing of such petition. Such sheets before being presented to the electoral board or filing with the proper office of electoral district or division of state or municipality, as the case may be, shall be nearly fastened together in book form. This is how serious it is. I had to read all of this to get down to this little bit. It says, as case may be, shall be fastened together in book form by placing the sheet in a pile and fastening them together at one edge in a secure and suitable manner. And the sheet shall then be numbered consecutively. That's what another case had brought that up, because one guy had numbered his in pencil and then the clerk had renumbered it and somebody tried to contest that and they end up losing that too. That's how petty this thing get. I read a lot of these cases. I was like, dang, it's ridiculous. Then it says the sheet shall not be fastened by placing them together end to end. So you're not supposed to do it in a book form. It's just supposed to be bonded at the top so as to form a continuous strip or roll. So it's not supposed to be in book form. All petition sheets which are filed with the proper local election officials and election authorities or board of elections shall be original sheets which have been signed by the voters and the circulators and not photographs, okay, duplicates or such sheets. A petitioner with the a petition when present or filed shall not be withdrawn, altered, or added to, and no signature shall be revoked except by revocation in written, presented, or filed. Listen to this. Listen. In the other cases, that's why I know these are not together, because the other cases where the petition was handed in one time and then the declaration of the statement of candidacy was handed like a couple of hours later, a few minutes later, maybe the next day before the deadline, as I showed you in these different cases. They met the criteria for that. That's how they beat. But here it says, when it comes to this petition, if that statement of candidacy was directly connected to the petition, the other cases would have never won. Because it says here, a petition, when presented or filed, shall not be withdrawn, altered, or added to, and no signature shall be revoked except by revocation. So that petition, once he ended that petition, even those other people that we showed you their court cases from 1985, 2019, once they hand that petition in, they wasn't supposed to hand no more petition papers. That's why that other gentleman, what was his name? I didn't even remember. I said his ass was being knocked out the box because he kept handing in petition papers different days. Oh, I think they're gonna be mad at me. I think it was hold on. KP and Nate. Owens, double signature, no voter, outside deadline. That was Owens. That was Stafford Owens. Y'all see, I got this. I ain't about to play. Sanders, he petitioned multiple felons. I knew it. Moore. And somebody came under my video about him like, y'all had Seti Moore. He was da-da-da-da-da. Girl. I knew he was going to be knocked out the box because he did exactly what they said don't do. Don't file several petitions. So he kept adding signatures. Like, I got 50 more. I got 50 more. I got 30 more. You're not supposed to do that. This is exactly what it says. So if Nate Fields violated that, then that would have been what the attorney would have brought up, because it would have been an addition, and he wasn't supposed to do that with the petition. It says here clearly. Okay. So that is his case. He can also add, even with the petition, he can add this on to, okay, so if you're basically calling me having this separate form an add-on, and if it's an add-on, that means the clerk did not do their job. Bam! How you turn it on somebody like somebody done fucked up then? Excuse my language. I just had to put that together too. Well, if you're saying that these separate, and it says directly that you're not to do no add-ons to the petition, but you accepted it, that wasn't supposed to do that. Let me stop. The clerk can't get in trouble for taking paperwork. I'm talking shit. Y'all shouldn't just vote her ass and she crooked. She done let Seti Moore come in there, give thousands of papers in and shit. She like, you got more? This motherfucker about to lose. That's what she said. Oh, you got more petitions, huh? Okay. The deadline is that day, right? That was some little crooked Joe ass. All right. Did I help Nate present a case today? Did I help Nate present a case today? Do we do more than talk shit up here? Well, do we do some education? Do we do some validation? All right, let me see if there's anything else here. Election code is amended and changed. What I saw in this election code amended and changed. Why did I pull this up? Y'all see me scratching this stupid wig? Fucking wig. As soon as I get off of this, I'm gonna be like, oh, I can't wait to get my braids back, get my Pocahontas braids back. All right, let me get to the comments. We are hour and 33 minutes in. I think I presented a good case to you guys. We're gonna be coming back with some more information related to TIffany case, her standing, the stuff we were talking about. I think my mouth dry at this point. What's this? Oh, I got 2 more cases. Oh my God. I got another case. Y'all want to hear it? Okay, let's get it. Nader. I think that was one of the Nader was one of the ones that she brought up. Damn it. I found another one. I forgot I had that one. Let's do one more, y'all. Listen, y'all know Grace gonna fight to the end. I told y'all. I understand TIffany. I'll be going down like, I don't care. We're going to find anything and everything. I'm not letting y'all do me wrong. Okay, Native versus Illinois State, Illinois election. So this is background information. This is June 21st, 2024. Candidate filed their nomination petition candidate with 3,200 signatures. When the board located in Springfield, Illinois, the candidate petition sheets were hand numbered. That was the hand numbered one. Remember I told y'all it was a hand number one, and then they tried to contest it with the hand number versus the clerk counting it, and they said it was misnumbered. And I think I went into this because hold on. During the hearing, the candidate filed a motion to request an election subpoena. Oh, it was two things on this. It was two. But Nate didn't do this, so he got to talk to his lawyer and see. This about bias, too. This had two in there. I'm like, ooh. This was the bias part. This is the bias part. Because the number with the consecutive thing right there, they just was like, listen, that's nothing that's going to affect the election process, the due process. So they just, again. But this is where I was like, oh, okay. So look, on July 6, 2024, the board convened. There we go. On July 6, 2004, the board convened as the State Officer Electoral Board and appointed a hearing officer to conduct the inquiry into the objector allegation. During the hearing, the candidate filed a motion requesting that the Electoral Board subpoena the payroll records of certain named state employees who allegedly performed work for the objector petition as taxpayer expenses. Ooh, Nate. I was like, ooh, this is spicy. You know, that's going on out there, allegedly. The candidates argued that if such acts would violate Article 9, the election interference provision, 10 Illinois CS 5/9, Section 25-1.1, Nate Fields, and several laws contained in Article 29, the prohibition and penalty section of the election code, which we went into. How I told you that Napoleon supposed to get in trouble, but he not. The hearing office held that the electoral board had no power to hear or investigate the candidate alleged violation of the election code, and denied to issue a subpoena. The election board adopted the hearing officer's opinion, also denied to issue a request subpoena. So this right here is another case that highlights election interference provision. Okay. Now, I can find more cases in regards to election interference provision, but I'm going to save that for somebody special. Okay. I presented enough. I think that's why y'all know Grace Levi ain't here to play. I'm here to slay. So if you guys learn anything, please hit the like button. I definitely know that Mr. Roberts was in here getting it in. We're going to get to y'all comments now, see what you have to say before we end the broadcast, okay? This says she cannot run as independent. However, she would have to instruct the voters to write her name on the physical ballot. She still has to let them know that she want to be a write-in ballot, and she's supposed to do that by yesterday. So if you guys want to verify that, y'all should see if she did that. Yeah, so what we read, the Illinois State Board of Elections has the final say into the Illinois Constitution of 1970. Every candidate agrees to follow the rules. Henyard attempt to get them to rule in her favor. They don't have the final say. The judge and the law has the final say, baby. You better start giving all these people all your power, Norm. Y'all have the final say. They do some crooked shit. You go and you had the final say. There will be an audit. An audit for who? Thornton Township. Did they approve the audit? Because I know they didn't approve the other one that came through. Hunts didn't get approved, and then they were waiting for the other guy that was on. They had him on the agenda. I gotta go look at the last Thornton meeting. I'm gonna be honest. I told you I was so disgusted. I didn't get the facts. My mind was blown. So I'm gonna go look at it and see what happened. Y'all keep me up to date. That's how when I'm discussing, I'm disgusted. I was like, no. Henyard is cooking in the township. She may be have better luck in Dalton. And it looks like she is having better luck in Dalton because nobody is contesting her. And that's where she has a lot of power. And no matter what, even though she allegedly bankrupt Dalton, money gonna come from somewhere. The town can be taken over by the government, by the state, help you regulate your town. They're not going to just let the town go bankruptcy. So you see what I'm saying? Y'all have to get a grip on that. Y'all just letting him and y'all just think Clean House 2025 got it in the bag. Y'all got other candidates that's going to split that vote. You got Miss Jordan. You got people going for her. They was people up at that damn caucus for Henyard. She wasn't supposed to have them buses, but them buses had people. Sleep on a kid. You can't eat McDonald's or steaks, but time will catch you. What are you talking about, baby? Williams, come on, let's stick to the subject. Allegedly, the CPA has indicated that he will not sign any financial documents or statements. Did he? Show me that. I want to see. And you know why? I agree. If he won't, he ain't going to jail. He's like, I ain't signing off on that shit. Government makes billions on the poor. Yes, they do, because a lot of that money that come in, they get to spend it on themselves. You see what TIffany does. She run her little programs, and they get hundreds of thousands. One of the grants that came through for Thornton, it looked close, like one was 500,000 and one was close to $1 million. They have a $5 million. I don't know if it was a grant or loan because I don't remember off the top of my head, but Sunday we're going back into that because now that we have people coming on into Thornton, y'all need to remember what y'all going into. You got people want to be supervisors, trustees. Y'all got to fix this shit. Fix all this shit, Peggy. All of this. The comptroller is well informed that Dalton has not submitted an audit since 2021. Moreover, why hasn't Dalton been placed in the receivership status? Maybe they're waiting to get a new mayor. Maybe they're waiting to see what happens. I don't know what they're waiting for, but I know it's going to be time. It's going to be time. It's too long. If you're scared of driving a bus, will fail. Okay, let's move on to that. Nate, who is going to take over this mess? And that's what I was saying. I'm going to tell you guys, I have talked to a few people in the background, and I won't tell you who, but I definitely know when they talk to me and they talk about candidacy, I ask some real ass questions, and you can't just tell me, oh, I'm going to be this. I want to be this. This was that. I'm like, so what are you doing for the people? What is your actual plan? Do you know that you have several departments that you're over? You have to understand how those departments run, because if you don't know how those department runs, and these people are going to run circles around you, and then you may have more fraud, more things that go on just because you're not focusing on things you need to focus in, because people are looking at this as positions. So make sure that when you go into this, all the candidates, that you're going in there to fix these damn problems. Every single department have the issue except for the road and bridges. Now, I don't know what Dalton, but Thornton Road and Bridge is doing good, okay? It wasn't binded properly. Okay, I just read the law to you, and I read cases to you. So what you think now? That is not the petition is supposed to be binded. I showed you both documents. One says attached, and one says binded. So I think that the lawyer tried to give them the opportunity to make a decision, and people just show how biased they were. They should have just let that man run. Come on, man. Not anyone who has a sense about themselves. Dalton mismanagement is systematic. Exactly. You can't go in there. It can't be about you. It got to be about fixing the fucking issue. You have to have a full-blown plan, have some resources, have some consultants who is educated in each field. Real estate, taxes, bonds, all of that shit. All that shit, Peggy. All because I'm like, damn, I gotta learn about bonds. Why the municipality gotta take a bond? That's like a loan. What the hell? And collect taxes. This is all the stuff that you have to know as a candidate. You know what I'm saying? So whether then that lady do what's right, she got all of that mess going. Who you talking about? Rather than that lady, you talking about Henyard thinking, can I put my sister on the screen? Who you talking about? Huh? You talking about her? I had to scare y'all. And rather than her do right, even at the last minute, she's still even like, okay, I would have thought, okay, they did you wrong. You're gonna do people right, but she won't. What I saw in that last meeting was disgusting. There was her and her goonies there doing that too. You know, the lady with the broken finger, the arthritis ass finger, talking about earth, yeah, all of that. That was her people. You see what I'm saying? She's only replicating what she observed for 8 years as trustee, and you know that was something that I kind of hinted to when I asked my question to Miss Wiedemann. If y'all happen to hear, I was the last person. That was God, because I kept calling like, damn, I couldn't get through, and I was the last person. And I asked, I said, do you think Tiffany is emboldened and have the skills she got? Because she got some skills. She ain't get indicted yet, y'all. You got to say she a kingpin or something. Stop sleeping on the child now at this damn point. She even got herself into the election. If they ain't cheat her ass out the caucus, they should have just let her just not win. But you see what I'm saying? I do believe that she observed this, and that's how she got the game. She got them old G's next to her. Let me show her old friend. She got them gangsters, them baby gangsters. Baby gangsters. Teaching her how to do this shit. She looked like she supposed to have straight gold teeth in that picture. All right, let's get down to the last bit of the comments. Clerk had enough sense to create his own party. Clark, sorry. They said Clerk. She was too busy doing wrong. Somebody said that allegedly she is supporting Clark because she wants to split the votes. Y'all better not. Y'all better not even think that person exists. Do y'all see what's going on in his motherfucking town? Huh? Don't even mention that name. Oh, hell no. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on him and show you all the bad stuff. Having a caucus versus a primary has nothing to do with fairness. Well, the people get to choose their candidate. That was what the caucus was for. That's what I thought it was for. But I guess no, the party gets to choose their candidate because, you know, the people don't have a voice. Tiff is auditioning for a job with Trump. She's going to be the next Omarosa. This shit, then get kicked out towards the end, try to make a tell-all book. Did Napoleon ever make a comment? Nobody said anything. I'm quiet, just like Napoleon. Honestly, I don't know. I've been a little bit behind adults in politics, but I know if he would have made one, everybody like, yeah, that's my candidate. None of that happened. Listen, Trump at this point to take anybody who's ready to roll down on the ground and fight hard. Trump don't give a damn. All he care about is winning until he can't use you, just like Tiffany. All she do, fast talk. Yeah, yes, she does. I'm just getting to all of y'all comments so we can finish up. Okay, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for indulging in this type of commentary, and I hope y'all learned a lot today. Pro se years ago wasn't bad, but the quality of judge ruling over the law and case law is done to sidetrack you. Yep. But that's why you got to know what to pull out. You got to know what to pull out. And then it's so sad. Sometimes you pull out all this stuff and you really represent yourself right. And then either you found guilty by your peers because they're stupid, or the judge crooked as all hell. Just like what happened out here with the Fannie Willis thing, where they were trying to pull off the Trump case. Now, you know, McMurphy or whoever that judge was, y'all know I'll be messing up on people's name. He was supposed to take her off. He saw the clear bias. And guess what happened? Took that shit to appellate court. And guess who off the damn case anyway? Fannie Willis off of the damn case. She lost. She lost on most of the YSL case, spent millions of dollars on it. millions, I'm blowing it up, but thousands of dollars on this Trump case as well, wasting the fucking people money because these people with their big ass head and their egos and their ulterior motives is just to move forward. I think just to get on that subject, she was trying to be the next Camilla. And you see what happened to her. Hey, how are you? Blessings. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I got my favorite shirt on for my favorite residents today, giving me grace. They like, you don't know what she been through. How the hell she keep her face so shiny? How she look so young, being dragged through the mud? Okay, let me move on. Oh, it says I am a pre-law student. Hey, LexisNexis and Westlaw have online access that you should check out when you have a chance, but both sites are essential for shepherdizing case law. Yes, but LexisNexis, you're a law school, right? They gave you some numbers to use so you could go in and say you're a student, right? Because I'll be like, yo, how the hell did I get in there? Don't worry, I'm actually I'm taking a different route. I'll tell y'all guys, I got some plans in my head. I'm just gonna make it happen. Both my kids in college, so it's nothing holding me back. I'm gonna make it happen. Election laws is a special breed. Yes, all laws are a special breed, especially when you don't know shit about it. Like when I went into real estate, I was like, oh my God, each fucking state, especially when I'm dealing with tax liens and deeds, they be having their own process. Some of them make you write to the homeowners to let them know you got interest. Some of the assessors will write for you, and you just be like, oh my God, I got a deep dig. So that's what made me really have to learn how to research law, because I invest in different states, and I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And I have students that invest in different states, tax liens. Yes, you have case law. Yes, you have case law, but the court still won't listen. Don't say that. Let's have hope, because the next thing is two things where I'm going to tell y'all. Don't sound like me, William. Please have hope. God, okay? I'm trying to give y'all hope. Two things that's important. Being a juror it is important. Please don't get caught up in a YSL trial. And also, you being a juror, you know what you do? You have the power of jury nullification. Y'all know about that? I hope you see my numbers gonna go down. And they's like, what the fuck she teaching y'all about that? Y'all can nullify laws for your jury. Yep. Certain laws that is that y'all consider that are unconstitutional, juries can nullify laws. And the marijuana law was nullified out here in Georgia. It is. That's why there's only a certain amount of weed, or 420, that they can lock you up for, even though they didn't make it legal for like trying to reverse it and things like that. It's only a certain, like for recreational. We were trying to get it to the recreational part. And in that case where it was a jury nullification years ago with the weed laws out here, was basically a man was growing his own marijuana, and they caught him and they locked him up. And he said that he had pain and he was trying to he had a doctor prescription to get it from another state, but he knew he couldn't bring it over state lines, so he just grew his own shit. And that was before it was actually like approved medically here. So that's how we still have the medical marijuana here, because that law was nullified by the jury. I know y'all like, what? Yep. It's not fun being a jury, but y'all have power and they don't want you to know that. So jury nullification is a process that gives y'all power. That's why you should, when you go into court, ask for a jury trial before you ask for a judge. You see what I'm saying? Because them motherfuckers, they be amazing. Let me stop before I have to be in front of one. He be like, what you say? Nothing. That you unbiased, that you are the truth. He says your appearance in front of the court doesn't mean anything without an attorney. That's not the truth. It depends on what court. That is not the truth. I have beat cases by myself. I know they were traffic cases, but shit, they were sure enough worth it. I stood my damn ground. I showed what it was. And no, I'm not about to let you do that. There's another guy up here. He wilding though. He a little crazy, but he represented himself and he giving these prosecutors a run for their money. Don't underestimate. The last court case that I actually lost was a case about running the stop sign. Do you know how many prosecutors they had on me after my filing? 3. And you know what made me lose that case? Because of the damn judge kept cutting me off and telling me what I couldn't say, as though I didn't know how to represent myself. And I couldn't argue with the judge, and the jury looking at me like she's wasting my fucking time. And the judge, I tried to get that in front of the ethic board and everything, but it was just a ticket. So I said, fuck you. Let's not talk about that. I met his friend too. Y'all know how the world is small. I swear to God, his friend came into my hospital and I was his nurse. And somehow, because he said he worked in the same court, and I was like, you know this judge, because I'm going to get this judge. Da, da, da. He was like, what? He's like, you know, he retired and moved to Florida. I said, damn. I said, you know, his ass made me lose my court case. He looked at me like, I said, I'm just playing. I'm going to treat you right. Don't be afraid. He started laughing. I said, your friend better be glad he in Florida, his ass. Anyway, moving forward. Case law citation doesn't always carry a complaint if the plaintiff does not have a valid request for relief. He does have a valid request for relief to get his ass back on the ballot. You see what? Thank you for bringing that up, Nate. Remember, at the end of your filing, you need to file at the end. Not all like, okay, this is why they lying. Remember, you have to have a valid request for relief, and that relief is to get you back on the ballot. So make sure that that's in your paperwork. Thank you, Nathaniel. You are fucking amazing. You're amazing. I love my audience. Y'all so damn smart. And y'all know I be forgetting stuff. I was like, oh yeah. The court goes after the pro say, don't worry. When you wear their asses down after a while, they be like, dismiss. I know people who wore them down. If you ain't paying the court judge and you know what paying a lawyer, you know what you're doing, you might as well. Y'all have a blessed day. I have some studying to do. Thank you. Blessings. I'm glad that you was here. And you are definitely welcome to be here anytime. I'm grateful. And hopefully I can be taking a law course like you. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about just taking a paralegal course, but I think the paralegal course is the same as the legal nursing consultant course. So I've been pretty much teaching myself how to do legal research. Y'all know that people on syllabus and shit be online? Yo, how you be going straight to Harvard Law School, printing out their syllabus and looking at their printouts? Listen, I'm a broke ass right here. Try to get my kids through school. What is pro se? Pro se is you representing yourself in court. That's pro se. You represent yourself without an attorney. Yes, I told you. Not in big cases. The case that I had against the county, I got a lawyer because Maryland is a son of a bitch. Because when I was trying to file it myself, they gave me so much hard time because everything needs to be done a certain way, and it was like they used an online format that was very complicated to me. I said, first, I got to learn the law and all the things represented. And I got to learn how to file this. So a lawyer filed for me, but I helped direct the case because without me, I would have lost. He didn't know what the hell to say. Tiff did not qualify, and I don't think she qualified. So please, guys, go look to see if she filed her what is it? A declaration for independent candidacy. It was supposed to be due yesterday. She just wow. Nate's on the timeline to file. So basically the timeline for Nate, let's close off. He's on the 30th. They're supposed to give him the findings of what happened at the hearing. He goes there, and then I believe he has 10 days from that day to file his appeal. If his paperwork and everything is well, I think he should file his appeal as soon as possible. Put every single one of them mofos on notice, not just the lawyer. Thicker than the Snicker. Catch a dog Smith if you want to be petty, because they tried to bring that up that he didn't send all of them notice, that he only filed it with the clerk. Don't do that again, because the courts are not going to take that lightly. So yes, you do have a timeline. You need to jump on it ASAP. And if you are representing yourself, my thing is that paper that you have to fill out, get a lawyer to fill it out. If you have to give him all of the information that you want to represent, then just be like, hey, I need you to spice this up, with your words. He'll change it and put it into legal terms, but that will allow the lawyer to work more effective with you. And it may lower your price a little bit because my lawyer fucked with me. He worked with me. He like, you pretty much did this whole damn case. Can we settle? I'm like, no. He like, please, can we settle? I'll give you a discount on your next foreclosure. I was like, cool. Fuck it, let's settle. You see what I'm saying? You got to know, you know what you're talking about, know what you got going on. So I see a lot in the comments. I'm going to start to get out of here. We're going to get to the last few at the bottom. Thank you for participating. It says either Nate or Napoleon will take over. Either or. That's it. Who else you got? Or the Republicans fuck around. Oh, no. Can I show y'all who the fuck running? Let me show you the guy. Shout out to my favorite resident. Y'all want to know? Oh shit. Let me do this. Y'all gonna laugh. We gotta go off. We gotta go off on this note. She showed me who is the Republican candidate. Y'all give me a second. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm gonna start with y'all comments. Check this shit out. Let me make sure I ain't gonna be having all my business out there. Who the hell is that? Give me a second. Woo! Look at it. Look, as we broadcasted, she was updating me that they still driving these buses. Did they approve the insurance? I don't think so. I had told you I got to go back and look at it. I know they didn't approve the insurance. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to pull up the Republican candidate and a little bit about him, y'all. Oh my God. Man, this thing moving slow. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Y'all want to see him? Shout out to my favorite residents that keep me on fucking task. Y'all want to see who Nolan is? Look at this meter freaker. Look. This don't look too good, y'all. There you go. This man looks scary. There you go. Check him out, y'all. Y'all see that? That's your Republican candidate for Thornton Township office. This is who he is, y'all. I said, what the? That scared the hell out of me. Nolan is a certified in municipal law. This is the person. He probably a nice guy, but I don't know. He remind me of the Crip people. I got nervous. Nolan is certified in municipal law and governance with experience in municipal finance and administration. He is a member of the Minister Conference of South Cook County and has hosted events for former Illinois governor. He is a former vice president of the School Board 133 in Riverdale, Illinois, and a former village trustee in Riverdale, Illinois. Y'all see who that is? Y'all think that he got a chance? Let me just get to the article I think she showed me. Oh my God. Ooh, who the hell is this? David Burns, cute. Let me stop, y'all. I didn't mean to say that. Let me put this guy on the thing. All right, let's find about the Republicans because y'all talking about that's their only chance. Shit, these movies over here, they be creeping. They've been creeping. They said they getting ready. They're going to beat the streets. I thought it was white guys. They got y'all fooled. Y'all thought y'all about to be looking for some white Republicans. Nope. They're going to identify with you. Here you go. This was December 5th. I'm so behind. And see the video of the their caucus. We showed the caucus, okay? So this is the Republican candidate for Thornton Township office, Richard Nolan, for the office of Township Supervisor. That's him. Nolan is a certified. We talked about that. This is for the office of Thornton Township Trustee, David Burns. Burns was born and raised in Chicago and has lived in the south and west side of the city. He is a community healthcare worker, outreach worker, counselor, and a father of 5. He also currently serves as a volunteer with Servants for Hope and Chicago-based nonprofit for promoting mental health, addressing basic human physical needs, and fostering, lastly, positive change in low-income families. They throwing out their profile. That's what I'm telling you. Y'all candidates better stop playing like, oh, I got a name. I'm just going to get that. What the fuck are you doing? Because these people coming in hot. Jeffrey Coleman, let's go for trustee. This Republican. Coleman is a current deputy Republican committeeman in Thornton Township and a former Republican committee of Calumet Township. He is the CEO of a barbershop network news, president of Van Venture, and president of 3DMKT. Don't know what that is. He ran for Senate representative in 2022 and obviously didn't win, but there he go. We got another trustee up here, Carl V. Dombrowski. Mr. Dombrowski has been a small business owner for 45 years and a top producing sales professional in the moving and storage industry. He coaches Lansing Little League for 16 years and served as a parent board president in the Merritt School of Music in Chicago. We got enough. Y'all keep playing around. I'm talking about we only got these candidates. Who knows these people though? Just because y'all don't know them and because they got YouTube streets kind of on lockdown with all the, the Clean House 2025 and what we've been paying attention to. These people coming in somewhere. So for the office of township trustees, Keisha Richardson. Remember that? Look at the face. Richardson is a small business owner and has over 20 years of corporate finance and corporate trust experience. She also worked for the NPCA in a nonprofit sector, working with hundreds of communities, stakeholders to implement a award-winning vision. Positioning Pullman, she is currently a board member of the New Solo Wellness Organization. And this is the guy that's going for highway commissioner. This was the one we saw in the video. His name is D Young. Remember, he was like, I'm so excited. We're going to take our break and then we're going to hit the streets, dog. He said, I got my black team. He ain't playing with y'all. Go ahead and think that the Republicans ain't got nothing up their sleeves. Last person, D Young has filled a role of Republican committeeman in the Thornton Township for 10 years and has been in technology management for over 25 years. He currently serves as a planning and development commission in the village of South Highland and on the school board of Calvin Christian School in South Highland. So if y'all want to find out a little bit more, I will share this article with you. But we're going to share with you what's really going on. Don't sleep on the kids. Y'all got some competition coming up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got some competition. Shut up. Shut up. Okay? Stop. That's discrimination. I can say it how I want. Okay? This as long as you learned to lie on this broadcast. Okay? Anyway, I love you. I don't care. Say what you want to say. Express what you want. Just don't be disrespectful. I appreciate it. Maybe one day I won't say the S in Illinois. Shut up, y'all. I love you guys. I'm going to go off with some music and I'll be back on Sunday. We're going to look at the numbers, okay? I hit the like button.
Leader, they want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work. Y'all forget I am the leader.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election
2013.
for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Thornton Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Terms 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Okay, next.
A bullshit. A bullshit.